Welcome back, guys, to our Project KH. It's been a while, so I'm not quite sure where we actually left off on it. I'm sure we covered pretty much everything. But as you can see, anyway, we've got the engine's pretty much built up. So we did previously do a assessment kind of on how it had been running before ignition timing wise. So I've just basically put the generator back in with the points back in, and everything is exactly as it was. So what I can't seem to find is so it may be helpful for other people that wanting to do it to time up using a DTI gauge. So what I'm going to do today, I can't find any measurements in millimetres before top dead centre. That's what I was trying to say. So we're going to have to stick to the book and do it by the book. So just to clarify for anybody that is perhaps slightly unsure, we're connected to this set of points, which is the left cylinder. Now these three sets of points are all the same, but at the side of these points, the bottom half of the points here, the fixed part, is secured with this screw to the engine, therefore is earthed. So at all times that contact inside there is connected to earth because it's screwed to it. Now the set of points here on the cam that has been worked up and down off the cam, i.e. like that, when the engine's turning, is insulated, completely insulated from earth by a little a little plastic or Bakelite pivot point inside here. So that is completely isolated from that. Therefore, this electrical contact connected to the condenser as well, but this electrical contact, even though it's mounted on this plate, it's actually got the little Bakelite washers behind it as well, meaning that nut and this electrical contact are insulated from earth. The only time they see an earth is when these two faces connect together, because off this side of the points that's on a spring connected to this wire. So essentially when they close, up the metal set of points into the spring, into the nut, the little bolt going through the insulation to here, connect it to earth. I hope I made that clear. I mean, I probably made that sound more bloody complicated than it was, but anyway. But essentially the bottom line is this is insulated, and the only time this gets an earth is when the points are shut. Therefore, when they open, if we put a test light in it, when they open, as we can see there is now a path to earth to this wire, to that wire, which is, let's just go on this one, then we can actually see it happening. So they've closed, the points have closed inside there. Now how am I going to do this that's going to make it, there we go. Now if I come under here, if you can see that set of points, if you aim at that gap, because the light is lit, we have a path to earth, to the body. We've got alive on the battery, so as soon as that set of points opens, it breaks the circuit, so there's no earth to the bulb. But that gives us an exact point in time that the coils would see, irrespective of fag paper thicknesses or whatever like that. We're looking at what the signal at the exact point the coils are going to get triggered. So again, if we go just at that point there, the light's gone out, back again, back on, slight amount more, just enough to break the circuit. So that's the point that the coils would be fired. So I'm not sure yet which one that is, we'll come to that one. So back onto this side now, with all that being said and in mind. Now our left cylinder, we've got a gauge in it. The points are shut because we've got a bulb. Okay, so if I now rotate, if we see the gauge start rising, we know the piston's travelling upwards. We're turning the crank normal direction, and here we go. The piston is now rising. So we can have a look. This is exactly where it was. So just about there. So if we zero that, let's just check our measurement. It's moved a little bit. There we go. Let's try again. It's funny how it... I mean, look at that there. We're now down there. I think the happy medium is, let's say, zero it to there. I mean, we're talking hundredths of a millimetre here. That'll do for me. So it's at that point that the point's open. So carry on in normal rotation. There we go, point's open. We're going to go, that's 1/2 mil. So they opened 1/2 mil before top dead centre, but we're carrying on. So they opened, we've now got 1 millimetre and it's still rising. So it actually opened 1 mil, 1.5 mil, 2 mil. So this to me is advanced now. I mean, even like I think as previously said in previous videos, TZs were about 1.8. I mean, they're a proper high performance 2-stroke engine. So we're at 1.8. Sorry, we're at 2 millimeters now on this, and we're still rising. 2.1, 2.2, 2.25, 2.6 now, and then it'll start falling again. So that means them points opened at 2.25. So this cylinder would have been advanced. It's trying to kick back. If when you're starting it, it would have given a little bit of a kick, a prod backwards on the kickstart, perhaps. Bearing in mind, this ignition has no advancing retard on it. And later on, they actually put spring-loaded, bob-weighted advancing retard. I'm not sure they did on this engine, but a lot of engines, you know, that were still running points had a mechanical advancing retard. This engine is static, so static timed, it actually goes, do we say out of time as the engine speed increases? It obviously takes X amount of time to get the signal from the points opening to collapse the magnetic field in the coil and then produce a spark. But the faster the engine's going, the time that spark arrives would be later and later, the faster the, unless you advance up to get the spark. As everything's speeding up, you need to advance the spark so that it still arrives at the correct time, if you're with me. At the point these engines were made, they never incorporated that in this ignition. So as the engine revs rise and its physical speed that everything is happening, shall we say, it will become more and more retarded. So anyway, that's nothing we can do about that. It's fixed, it's static timed. From static time, it doesn't even have an advance in the black box because it doesn't have one. So that's the timing, and that's what we work to. So that's as good as it gets. That's what I'm trying to say. So just a quick drink of the tea. We've always got to have a cup of tea on here, you know. So technical stuff, this. Right. Okay. So that just shows that one cylinder. So what we're going to do, we're just going to go back. We know the points are shut there. In fact, I'm going to open them right up. So this set of points here should be, see the light's coming on because I'm giving it a path to earth by shoving the feeler gauge in. Now, this set of points, the book says, I quote, between 12 and 16 thou. We have, you should get it in some light, 15 thou, somewhere in the middle of that. Okay, so I'm trying to get 15 thou, and it's actually making the points lift a little bit. I hope the camera's picking that up, so it's way out. So what we're going to do, I mean, you can actually see here as well, this set of points slides in this slot, and it's completely slid all the way around clockwise till you can't get it, till it won't go any more in that slot up against that bolt. So that means if the engine's rotating from this end of the crank, the engine's rotating anti-clockwise, and they've swung it round clockwise, they've made the spark come as early as possible as they can possibly get it. So what we're going to change all that. But the first thing we do, which is the same for every cylinder, but the first thing we're going to do is gap the points. They're at the wrong gap. So, right, where's my adjustment? Using the little slot to adjust other way. Just put a little bit more tension back on. It's so difficult doing it while you're filming and everything's on. In fact, I can just take that off for a minute out of the way. And I'm going to come down to camera right level, and so I need to be turning that so we're at fully open there, and if you look there now, it just slides in and out. It's like a chucking a sausage roll down Arndale, that. Okay, there's no friction whatsoever to it. Right, I'm sure a few of you have heard that before. Now I'm going to come back now with my gauge in and allow it to be difficult to just, he says now, oh, disaster. Let me just see what you're seeing. There we go. That still feels a little bit tight on that, so perhaps, there we go. Just, you can't feel that obviously, but you know, you can't, you have to take my word for it that. So if we tighten up at that, I'm happy with that, that's a good fit. Okay, you're just gonna have to take my word for that now. So with that in mind, now we've put the correct gap, it will change the point at the minute that also what we've got to look at, all we get by Kawasaki is a line in there. Okay, and what it says in there, now irrespective of this, because we've got no figures to work to with that, but we can, when we time it up, now I wonder if, I'm just going to lift the camera up and try and show there's a line in there that says left fire. I'm not going to stay here I'm not sure whether you're picking that up, but anyway, let me put this back. Let me put this back and let's have a look. Okay, I'm looking directly at it, and we've got left fire and a little line just there on the casing, and they're rotating on the end of the crank. So it's at that point here, at that point, that if I go any further back, those points should be shut at that, because now there we go, the bulb's lit now, so that means at that point, just at that point there, is where it's actually on the plate, is where it's going to fire, which is way too advanced. So I'm going to rotate round now until I actually line my left fire mark up, which is exactly there. Okay, so left fire is there. What we could actually do in a minute, which I don't know why I didn't think of that a minute ago, but what we can do is we can measure from left fire to top dead center, because we've got 2 points there, and measure it and see what Kawasaki say it actually should be. But let's just set this up first. So I'm going to slacken that, and we're leaving that one alone, and that one's for gapping it, and the other one on the long slot there, great, it came undone. So using, I'm going to use to start with, how loose is it? See that move in that slot? Okay, we're at left fire now. just see what's happening here. We've got a light. Left fire. We should have a light lighting in. There we go. Now if you can see that as I'm moving that, the light on my test light has gone off there and it's gone on there. So I'm just gonna slowly turn it back. Right, it's just gone off there. Just nip that screw. So let's just check that now. It's on there, which means there's a path to earth, means the points are closed. At the point it's rotating round to, left fire is coming into the window, and bang, exactly right timing, the points have opened. In fact, it's just trying to put the light on there. So let's see from here. Now what you could do, you could look at it two ways this. So we've zeroed the gauge, we're at firing point. Okay, just a little bit further down, let's get it as accurate as we can. Right, okay, so the points have just opened. So watching the gauge, 0.8 of a mil before top dead centre. So Kawasaki's firing mark there just check it again. Yeah, so points opening, sorry, points have just closed there. So coming to do its normal routine now. The piston's travelling upwards, points are shut, so the points have not opened yet because we've got a light on. And then at that point, the points have opened and we fire in that side. So we're not even. It's as good as 0.8. So food for thought there. 0.8 of a mil for any KH is what Kawasaki is saying. Points open, 0.8 of it. I mean, there's absolutely. I think it's a bit. I personally, well, I was going to say, would I put a mil on and just advance it slightly, but don't know. If it was mine, maybe. It's not mine, so I'm not going to do. I'm going to stick to what Kawasaki say it should be. So that's this left cylinder done. It's the same for all three, so I think we'll pick it up on later on when the other three are all done. The other two are all done, so all three are timed up. But I hope that helps. We'll just refresh going back through that again. Lights on, which means points are shut. We're coming round the left fire. Mark is just coming round. Bang, there. Okay. And then, so it's pointing at the, let's call it at the 9 up there, and we've got, looks like 0.9, around 0.85 before top dead centre is the firing. So food for thought, but essentially I'm going to just tighten that back up now because we've moved. So we've gapped it first, essentially gap it first, and then using the slide. I mean, these points, because we're still right at the end of that slot, these points must have a little bit of wear on the heel of them. I mean, the whole setup in here does look a little bit old, to be fair. But look, what I'm going to do is use what I've got first. I don't want to throw parts that it doesn't need. I'm going to time it up properly and then run it. And when it's running, if we've got like a lot of arcing at the points or whatever, possibly condensers, or even just, you know what, if it starts looking like we're going down any of that road, points in condensers and it's done for good. Okay, thanks for watching. I hope that helped. But by doing it that way with a test light, you see exactly the point that the coil is going to get. It's going to the earth is going. It's going to lose its earth. So through the wire, it will collapse the magnetic field in the coil and produce a spark. So it's at that point it produces a spark. Anyway, thanks for watching. Any questions? And please hit the like and subscribe. So, okay, cheers guys. Okay, welcome back to this. I'm just going to show. I've just gapped all 3 sets of points now. Okay, so we're on the bottom set of points that say R, so the right cylinder. Okay, on the bottom set of points, the gap's been set correctly at the, what was it, 15 thou. Now, I'm hoping when you get to see it on the computer, you can see through there. I've got the touch, and the line is essentially in the centre of this hole, so it's just there. That the line inside there needs to line up with this static line on the outside. So if we now look, if I rotate backwards, our light comes on. So right cylinder coming round just as it's about to hit. Let's see if I can get it all in the same shot. Just as it's about to hit whether you can see that or not. Right fire is just there. Right fire and lights out. That means the points, I've just taken the weight of my hand off that spanner. Right fire, smack in the middle, light goes out. So at that point, the right cylinder fires exactly where. So if we move again, we've done that one. Let's look at this one, centre one. So the centre cylinder is going to keep going round. Is that the centre? Yeah, centre fire. Okay, so the points are shut. We've got the coil's now charging up again because the points have closed. The coil is now in its charging up phase, and as soon as that CF goes round, just there, bang on that line, back and that, there it is, just there, centre firing, exactly where Kawasaki say it should be. If you're in any kind of competition, you would maybe put a little bit more advance on that, but anyway. And then just to prove the point again, where are we on? We've done that one, so that one. What am I thinking? Here we go. Right, so that again is our left cylinder. So normal rotation, the arrow going round in the window. We've got a light lit up, so the coil is now charging up. And left fire is just coming round, bang, there we go, left fire, light's gone out, 0.8 of a mil, 0.885 of a mil, off top dead centre. So that's how we static time it, but it's actually engine running timing as well, as because there's actually no provision for advance in this engine. So normally now you'd start at static timing, and then whatever provision it had got by the manufacturer, i.e. a spring-loaded bob-weighted advance and retard, all done in a CDI unit or an engine management, it would then do its process of advance being done. But again, we're talking 1975 bike here, you know, them sort of things just weren't, you know, it wasn't common anyway, put it that way. It was a bit later on, then this, like I say, they start to put an advance on the, but there we go. So, thanks for watching it all. I think next time you'll pick this up with me, that will be in there. So when we get a bit of just uncovered that, so it can actually show that beautiful shine on that frame in the video. Okay, thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one, guys.